Hey friends, we're going to review picture graphs and bar graphs today. So let's practice with this problem. Vera enjoys practicing the piano. The picture graph shows the time she spent practicing for 4 days in October. So we can see that it's titled Piano Practice. We can see the categories from October 4th through October 7th, and we can look at that key. The key is the most important thing. Each clock doesn't represent one, but how many does it represent? How many minutes? 5. Good job. So on October 4th, she didn't just practice piano for 2 minutes. She actually practiced for 5 times 2 or 10 minutes. So here's our question. How many more minutes did Vera practice on October 6th than on October 4th? So let's first go through that problem, highlight those important, how many more, so we know we're going to compare. And then we're going to circle those important numbers. So we're looking at only October 6th, put a little star by that, and October 4th. So there's a couple different ways you can do it. You can actually think how many minutes she played on October 6th, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and subtract that from how many she played on October 4th, 5, 10. And that would leave us with 20 minutes. Another way you can do it is by really observing the graph, and you can take a look. I see that on October 4th, there's 2 clocks, and October 6th, there are 4 clocks. So you can match up those two, circle those leftovers, and count by 5s for that. 5, 10, 15, 20. So either way, it still gets you 20 minutes, whatever makes the most sense to you, where you find the different amounts and subtract, or where you really take a look at that graph, match them up, and then circle the leftovers and count by 5s that time. Just remember to make sure we're looking at that key. That's the most important thing. Make sure you're doing that first. All right, let's take a look at some bar graphs. So this says that students in the 3rd grade voted on a school mascot. We have the title, School Mascot Vote. Okay, that's appropriate, right? Because that's what they're talking about, this whole graph. We have the number of votes going over here, and we have the scale. And it's not counting by 1s. We see that it's counting by 5s, right? 5, 10, 15, 20. Good. And then we have the mascots down below. We have the 4 types of mascots they were talking about. The tigers, bulldogs, and what do you know, they won. Lions and the knights. So let's read our question. How many more students voted for bulldogs than for lions? So I'm going to go back to that question, and I'm going to highlight or circle how many more, and then voted for bulldogs than for lions. And so I'm going to look at only my bulldog section and my lion section. And so I'm comparing, and just like before, we can compare 2 different ways. We can get the total for bulldogs, which goes all the ways up to 40, and we can get the total for lions, which goes here and goes all the ways to 15. And we can subtract, because whenever we compare how many more, how many less, how many fewer, we subtract, right? When we compare, we subtract. And don't forget to regroup, okay? It's not, some of my friends in class were doing 35, but don't forget to regroup. That 4 becomes a 3, and that 0 becomes a 10. And so then 3 minus 1 would be 25. Okay, so don't forget to regroup. Another way you can do it is also take a look. Let me go ahead and do a quick little eraser guy here. We're looking at the lions and the bulldogs, and we're comparing. Here's the lions, here's the bulldogs, and we can compare how much is in between this, okay? And we can count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So the answer would still be 25 more students voted for bulldogs than lions. You can do it either way, where you're actually doing it with the math and solving it that way by getting the totals of each and subtracting when we compare. Or you can take a look at the graph and use that graph and figure out how much is in between. All right, friends, go ahead and practice this a little bit more tonight, and we will practice some more and review tomorrow. Thanks, guys.